Am I the a-hole for telling my son the truth about why my wife stopped talking to her parents? Her parents always looked down on me, and I can somewhat understand why, given my past and how me and my wife met. At 23, I was a homeless man. My wife was the first person who was nice to me. I almost got kicked out of the small restaurant when I was trying to avoid a rain. She was there and pretended that we were meeting, so they'd let me stay. Got a free meal, and we talked for a long time. She really helped turn my life around. Stuff like helping me fill out a job application. From there, we became good friends. 2 years after that, after getting my act together first thanks to her, I asked her out on a date. Her family never approved of our relationship because they thought I was trash due to how my life was when we met. Which again, I get it. But after 4 years of us being in a relationship, and me having the same steady full-time job to help with the bills for years, they didn't even come to the wedding. Then when my son was born a year after, they still wanted nothing to do with us. So we haven't had contact in years since my son was a baby. Now he's 16 and they contacted us out of the blue. They still don't care to talk to either me or my wife, but they were willing to put their feelings aside to get to know him. We never went into details with him about why we don't talk to them, and he's never asked much before. We left the choice to him if he'd like to meet them, and he agreed to it. He's gone over to spend time in several occasions the past 3 months. Finally, the other day, he asks us why we didn't keep contact with them. To him, they seemed like nice people, so he doesn't get what the conflict was. They told him we stopped talking over a conflict we had, but left out a part that they were the ones who didn't want to see us. So we told him the truth. My son already knows about my past, and that's something I never wanted to hide from him. We told him they never approved our relationship because I used to be homeless, and they never wanted to be part of our lives since then. He got mad at them, and they are now mad at us. My son doesn't want to talk to them, and they sent us screenshots of some of the things he told them. No insults or inappropriate language, but just what he thought of them. And they think we're a-holes because they were finally building a relationship with him and we ruined it. For now, my son says he doesn't want to be involved with people like that. We've talked to him several times. He still hasn't changed his mind. It was my choice to tell him why, and my wife supported that. Now with how things have turned out, I wonder if I was an a-hole like they seem to think I am. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Did the grandparents actually expect you to lie about the reason for the estrangement? Honestly, I would consider Opie and wife to be at fault if they didn't tell son the truth. They thought we just wouldn't have gone into details about what the conflict was. They probably haven't apologized, I'm guessing. And we ruined it. You didn't ruin anything. If simply saying what happened ruins their relationship, the saying part isn't the problem. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You shared the truth. If that reflects poorly on them, that's because they're a-holes. What a great story, by the way. So great that you were able to get on your feet, find love, and have a family. Not the a-hole. All you did was tell him the truth. They probably had their side of the story told too. He made his own decision after that. Also sounds like a Lifetime movie. You could probably sell the rights to your story and make some money. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my ex-husband and telling him that his wife forced our daughter to babysit? My 34 female ex-husband, 40 male, married a woman, 36 female with 4 children. 1 male, 11 female twins, and 14 male 6 years ago. We have a mutual daughter of 15, who has told me before how she tries to impose a relationship between her and her step-siblings. My daughter is a very introverted, shy girl. She's told me that her time together with the kids is usually watching movies or spending time with her dad, and that she doesn't like being left alone with them because she's too easily distracted. And they're always running and doesn't listen to her. But that her stepmom is always scolding her because that's not the type of relationship she wants them to have. Both my ex-husband and I've talked to her, and she is always insisting that as their older sister, she should be more involved with them, as in babysitting, diaper change, offering to wake up with the baby, and take care of him for an hour or 2. But my daughter doesn't feel comfortable with that kind of responsibility, and I get it. Not everyone is made to take care of babies. My daughter was invited to this party, more like a reunion, 5 to 10 people all vexed, during Sunday and was super excited about it. My ex and his wife had a wedding to attend that same day, so the plan was that they dropped the kids with her sister around 2 p.m. and my daughter with her friend after that. I thought that was what they did. Until around 5 p.m. when my daughter called me and told me that she left her with all the kids. and the baby needed his diaper changed and that she didn't know how to do it. She was crying and scared, so I drove there and took care of them. I called my ex and asked what his deal was, and he told me that my daughter said she didn't want to go to the party anymore. But my daughter told me that his wife forced her to say it's because she was done with her laziness. So she says she didn't deserve to have fun and had to work for it. He obviously got mad and drove back immediately. I left with my daughters when they arrived. He came back yesterday to apologize to my daughter. And apparently, he's thinking about divorce because she endangered all 5 kids. And now she's calling me an a-hole for babying my kid. Not an a-hole at all. Your ex's wife wants your daughter to provide free childcare while pretending she wants them to bond as siblings. That's why she is the a-hole. Exactly. Stepmom doesn't care about the daughter. She wants something for free. Maybe stepmom should get off her lazy butt and parent her kids. Not an a-hole. Not an a-hole. Your ex-husband's wife has a screw loose if she thinks her 15-year-old stepdaughter should get up in the middle of the night to take care of her infant. If she wants someone to mind her children, she can pay for a sitter or have her 14-year-old son help out. It doesn't matter what type of relationship her stepmother wants her to have with her children. That decision is your daughter's. At least you're able to come communicate effectively with her father to try and resolve this problem. Right? Help wake up with a baby? Oh, hell no. I love my daughter and my god kids so much, but past them? I better be getting paid to wake up with other kids, and I'm 27. Not the a-hole. Do not under any circumstances allow your daughter to go back to that house while that woman lives there. At least your ex is on the same page as you. He can come to your place if he wants to see her. Good job getting her out of there. Not the a-hole. Parentification, which is what your ex's wife is doing to your daughter, is mistreatment of a child. Taking care of the baby overnight, changing its diaper, etc., is absolutely not a job of a 15-year-old. And a 15-year-old should definitely not be left alone with 4 kids. I'm assuming she's not insisting that her 14-year-old is also responsible for helping with babysitting / caring for his younger siblings. She absolutely endangered at least her baby, if not the rest of the kids, your daughter included, by leaving them alone without any adult supervision for at least 3 hours. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for saying my step and half siblings via my father have no right to be at my maternal family's Christmas? I lost my mom when I was 7. My dad is not technically married, but is in a long-term relationship and lives with this woman, Sandra, and her kids, 11 and 9, and my half-siblings, 6, 4, and 3. My dad and my mom's parents had a fight when he decided to move in with Sandra. He wanted my parents to become surrogate grandparents to Sandra's kids and treat us all the very same. They said no. They wanted time with their daughter's only child. That was special to said child, me. It ought to be babysitting someone else's kids. Then he and Sandra decided that if we all weren't treated equally, then they couldn't see me. My grandparents went to court and were granted grandparents' visitation rights. I get to spend December 26th with them every year. I get to see them 1 weekend a month. And they must be allowed time to celebrate my birthday within 2 weeks of my actual birthday per the court's orders. And I love it. This past year, Sandra's parents both died. My dad's parents were never around, so they were left without grandparents. Because of this, Sandra asked my grandparents to include the other kids in Christmas this year, since they are used to time with their grandparents. My grandparents said no. My dad asked them about a month after, and they said no again. Then about 3 weeks ago, they started piling the pressure on me to insist that the kids be included. They told me that after losing the only grandparents they ever knew, they deserve to be shown love and acceptance by people they know exist and who their big sister has as grandparents. I told them I would not ask. About a week later, Sandra told me the kids have a right to be treated like they belong. I told her that her kids have no right to attend my maternal family's Christmas, that they are not part of that side of my family, and they are not mine or their responsibility. I was called an insensitive a-hole for talking about the kids the way I did. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your father and his partner are extremely entitled, and I understand your maternal grandparents completely. They have no obligations whatsoever towards your father and his new family. Literally none. And your father and his partner should not be pressuring you either. This is just ridiculous. I feel sorry for your maternal grandparents. Opie's parents aren't only entitled, but also cruel, manipulative jerks. They try to hold Opie hostage from her grandparents after her mom died. That is just twisted. I don't blame the grandparents for telling the dad and his girlfriend to buzz off. The grandparents love Opie. She's their grandchild. They had to go to court to even be able to see her thanks to Opie's dad. They don't know them other kids, and I'm pretty sure they aren't fond of Opie's dad or his girlfriend for being a-holes to them. I don't get why these two adults are trying to force kids onto people who don't know them. I don't want them. You can't force people to be grandparents because they are older and present. Not the a-hole, but your father and his wife sure are. How dare they try to force a relationship upon your grandparents that they don't want? I love the fact that they whipped his butt in court for grandparents' visitation. Opie's dad and his lady aren't even married. Not that it makes a difference. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay stepkids' medical bills? My husband and I are in a conundrum. His ex-wife has custody of his 3 older children. Per court-ordered parenting plan, we are required to provide health insurance for the kiddos. We do, and she has the information. She is required to attempt to use all insurance available, even if it means the kids see different providers, while we are required to pay half of all uninsured costs. She actively refuses to use our provided insurance because it's provided through my employer. She chooses to use her own. It racks up these massive medical bills and expects us to pay half. After paying for 2 medical bills, we have told her we will no longer be paying half unless she attempts to use our health insurance, per the court order. We are not required to pay if she chooses to not use our insurance. She's hot pissed that we won't pay and is bad-mouthing us to the kids, saying we are deadbeats and Dad doesn't care about them, that he cares about our child. We have an 18-month-old together. When we told her we will no longer pay, we provided her with information for providers that accept our insurance in her area. They live in a rural area, so she could easily contact them and get the kids in. They also live less than an hour away from a giant medical campus that only accepts our insurance, and they come up to it all the time to go shopping, so her excuse that it's too far away doesn't hold water. Example of bill we have paid. Middle child had a strep test. Cost before insurance was $400. Mom's insurance paid $200, so we have to split the difference at $100. If she had used our insurance, the bill would have been $0. Are we the a-holes? I feel like we are a little bit, but we also don't feel like shelling out money we don't have to pay bills she is choosing to incur, and we aren't required to, per the court order. Not the a-hole. You have excellent insurance that will avoid medical debt and provides completely for the children. She's putting her pettiness above the children's needs. I would go to the court and explain this, and that her cost would literally be $0 as well, and that she's refusing to go with the best option because of her feelings towards you. She's free to go back to court and ask for a modification to the court order, although I doubt very much she'd like the actual outcome if she did so. Also, telling the children a bunch of demonstrably untrue things in order to poison their relationship with you is something the court would frown upon when you bring it to their attention. And also, why not use both? My son for a while was covered by 2 insurance plans, and his medical providers already knew what to submit to who in what order, which seems rather obvious, since it increases their likelihood of getting fully paid. I'd be prepared to go back to court on the grounds of parental alienation, not stay home. This isn't a question of AITA. There is a court order, and you are merely following it. I suppose in context, not stay home, but these arguments are what the court order is for. That's what we said. But whenever we have tried to enforce the court order in the past, she throws it back on us, accusing us of starting drama and being a-holes. So at this point, we keep telling ourselves we are doing what is legally required, but she keeps throwing it in our faces. We just tell her required per the court order, and she just can't seem to understand those words. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my mom about a message her boyfriend sent me? For context, I, 20 female, received a text late last night from my mom's, 57 female, boyfriend, 53 male. They've been together for a few months and mostly it's been good, but there have been a few fights here and there. For example, a month or so ago, he was making jabs about my mom's weight, and that really hurt her feelings, and frankly, it really pissed me off. But he apologized, and we moved past it. Or so I thought. The other morning, they were arguing before they went to work, and I asked her later that day when she got home what the argument was about. She told me he had gone through her phone, and that really upset her because it was a breach of trust. I understood and I left it at that. However, last night he sent me a message around midnight out of the blue. It was pretty long and kind of convoluted, but he basically said that while he was surprised my mom was a BBW when they first met because her photos were so beautiful, he's grown to love her as a person, inside and out, the more he's got to know her. Already a weird start, but bear with me. He then went on to say that he needed me to know the truth, and that my mom was actually cheating on him, and that I loved her, but didn't trust her. Now for today and the reason I'm asking if I'm the a-hole. This morning I showed my mom the message, and she got really angry and showed me proof that he was lying, and that I went through her phone for 5 hours straight while she was asleep and found nothing but messages to an old hookup from 6 months ago, before they got together. He then pretended to be my mom to this guy and see if he could get info out of him, which was really weird in my opinion. But also, he got nothing. She ended up breaking up with him for trying to come between us and lying to me about her. But I don't know if I was out of line for telling my mom, or potentially being the catalyst to their breakup, even if he was lying. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I forgot to mention that in the message, he also brought up his erectile dysfunction, and that maybe if he was able to have intimacy with her, that she wouldn't have looked elsewhere. Which she didn't. And also, your dysfunction is none of my business. Not an a-hole, and congratulations to your mom for kicking the clown out of her life. Oh my god, this post made my skin crawl. I'm so glad mom kicked this dude to the curb and didn't try to pin any blame on OP. Dude is creepy, and his relationship would have been a crap show. You did the right thing. Why on earth wouldn't you show her these inappropriate and bizarre messages? She's your mother. It is little better than a stranger. Well done for helping her see the horrible truth about it. Thank you. That's what I thought too. My first instinct was that it was strange to be including me in the first place. That's classic early stage mistreatment. He was trying to isolate your mother from her support system. Several classic red flags in your story. A lot of people would have distanced themselves from the awkwardness. Once the isolation succeeds, violence usually follows. Your quick thinking and loyalty did a real good deed. Not all heroes wear capes.